Right then, welcome to something a little bit different, and this is going to be a cut down version of my first stint in the Daytona 24 hours with my team, and well, we won it. This was split 5 on the Friday night UK time, and yeah, we won it. So this is lap 1, and it's one of them things like it's a good opportunity to gain time, but obviously gain it safely. You see I go around the outside of the guy there, gave everyone loads of room nice and patiently, and you know, that's a few places already gained. So the Audi guy here on the left hand side, we end up following him and he follows us for a hell of a long time. So I've got the inside line here on the second hairpin, just nice and easy. Make sure I don't understeer into anyone, make sure I do things safely. Dave behind there can seize the position nicely so we're not fighting too much. And yeah, now we kind of get in line and we kind of settle down a little bit, but you can see there I've gone from 11th to 7th. So it's a good few places gained. So you see, I'm just going where cars aren't, you know, not dive bombing too much, staying level, not poking my nose in too much, even though that was a little bit on around there. But again, make sure I don't understeer into him. You know, it's very easy to get in a crash, but also you need to be a bit more attackive, otherwise you're a sitting duck. So you can see there we're quite spread out already and the Audi noise has disappeared a little bit. So we'll speed up just a touch and we'll come to the first round of the bus stops. Now at this point, cold tyres, you can expect anything, so we've got to chill out, relax, and make it nice and easy. So we do well, and kind of now we're kind of settling in, we're eyeing up the cars around us. So you can hear the Audi behind coming up, so he does get a fantastic run. At this point, I don't get a very good run, so I've got two choices. Do I stick with it and stay on the inside and use the slipstream as much as I can? But this was another test for me, because we were in the Porsche, and it clearly wasn't a popular choice. I wanted to see what the straight line speed was like. If the Audi was going to walk past us, we were going to have a difficult race for the rest of it. If he was going to stay there like he does, we can have a battle. So this was a test for me, so that's why I didn't yield the position. But I thought I need to get turn 1 absolutely spot on, get it right, and get it into the corner, and hopefully catch up to these boys and get in their slipstream. You can see the top 3 are kind of disappearing at this point, so we're in a nice little battle there. Lap 3 or 4 now, we boost forward, and at this point I've been following this guy for a little bit and I need to make a move because the guys ahead are kind of disappearing a little bit. Dave has been very nice behind me, lifting off, saving fuel, because obviously that's a part of this. So I look to the inside and I get on my brakes and I literally get side by side to him before the apex, and that is a nice overtake, nicely done. And we look behind right now when I edit it and we see Dave gets through as well. So kind of my thing that he was a little bit quicker than me, I think, and I was kind of hoping to get a car between us to see what we'd do, but obviously didn't materialize that way. So we are looking behind us at this point and Dave's in the slipstream, and this is what I mean. He's sensible, he's lifting off nice and early, giving me the space to get in a nice braking zone, and we're taking it nice and chilled. You can see there, I trusted that guy. He did almost rear end me later on in this, but yeah, I trusted him and I thought we can work together to move up the field, and that is hopefully what we do. You can see they're right up the rear end of the next two. So we did manage to clear the first Lambo and then get onto the back of P4 and P5. So yeah, made a few positions. P6, what's that, 5 positions in 5 laps? So that, I don't think that's too bad going. So you can see here the Lambo is a little bit squirrely on the brake. I almost outbraked myself, but like I say, take things nice and easy. It's very easy to lose it in these races. You've got to remember there's nearly 800 laps. We did 799 laps in this. So to ruin it on lap 5 or to ruin it even before you get 100 is not ideal. It's not ideal to ruin it anytime, but we need to be cautious on the first few laps. So we're going to get in the tow at this point. You can see Dave behind is 0.2 and he's going to be in the slipstream, but as are we. So at this point, I've got to get a good run out of the bus stop because I want to try and get the overtake. That BMW in front was even a more unpopular choice than the Porsche, and I felt like he was holding us up a little bit here. So try and get a good run, we'll get an average run out of there, but Lambo's going to get the slipstream in front of us and I'm going to get the slipstream. So let's see what happens. You can see the top 3 have actually disappeared quite a lot, so I need to do something. Also in the back of my mind, there's LMP2s in this, so I want a nice clear road in front of me before the LMPs start messing around, let's say. They'll be close up bunch because it's Daytona, slipstream thing, and you see there David as well backing out, saving more fuel, which is genius for him. But you can see here, we're better on the brakes into turn 1. So that's going to be my attacking plan. Get people into turn 1. I think it's a better move for the Porsche, which is good. So we're lap 7 now, and we get another run. You can see David right behind us. He's even close. You can hear that Porsche going. And we're coming into turn 1. I know I'm good on the brakes here, but I need to be careful because I don't need to punt anyone. So you can see the space kind of opens up a little bit. Again, I'm nice and controlled. Keep it nice and tight, leaving loads of space on the exit there. That was a pass I wasn't intentionally going for, and then it materialized. But annoyingly, guess who followed us through? So the Lambo does the right thing there and completely yields. He'd rather stay in the slipstream with the both of us, and me and David both get through. Again, this is why I thought David liked to follow, because he was saving fuel and we were making up time on the rest of the grid. So I'm in a prime opportunity now to try and have a go at this BMW. And unfortunately, he goes wide there, and I get right in the slipstream, because that is obviously one of the annoying things about overtaking here. If you get out the slipstream, you are kind of a sitting duck. So you can see that top three are disappearing. The BMW is really struggling on the straight line. So we get a good run out of here, and we see what we can do in the bus stop. But it's not obviously the ideal place to overtake. So that is looking into turn one again. So fast forward this bit, because obviously this is a bit boring, just to go in the straight line. You see we're not actually gaining that much in the slipstream, which does concern me. It does show the BM is actually quick in a straight line, but we're much better through the bus stop now. And hopefully we can get on power and get a good, decent run through here. Going to speed up again, because again, it's a straight line. Cars do what they do. And again, you can see how good the BMW is in a straight line. I'm surprised more people didn't choose it, unless it is just that slow into the corners. So Dave right behind us again, and here comes the LMP. I don't know if you just saw it on the relative there, the leader just popping up. There he is, leader of the LMP2. So I see that on my relative, and I need to get past this guy. I'd rather have a clear road in front of me and just keep an eye on my mirror for the LMP. So he actually defends the hairpin here, which is fair enough, and I have the leader coming through. So I go massive wide, give the leader loads of room, and he stays nice and tight, and I try and minimize time loss when the LMP is coming through. That is the main game. I'm going to get on the racing line straight away at this point. Going to give the LMP2 the inside line. He is much less likely to understeer into me than I am to understeer into him. So that's why I'd rather be on the outside around here. Fortunately, number 44 goes nice and wide there, and we're right up with Jaxie again. And this, if I remember correctly, this is where, yeah, Dave behind almost rear ends us. Look how close that is. I'm so glad that netcode gods were on us on that side, because that could have been very annoying at this point, because obviously a lot of cars coming through at this point. A lot of the field are obviously behind us, because we're in P6 now, is it? I think it's, no, P5. We're in P5, and obviously we've got the LMPs coming through, so I may have been waiting there for a while until the track is clear. So I kind of try and rattle this guy a little bit. I try and think, well, I'm going to go through a bus stop. I can't beat it in a straight line, so I'll try and beat it through a bus stop. The other reason I went too wide through there is another LMP behind us, and I didn't want the LMP to overtake me and not the BMW, because that would have slowed me up through the bus stop. So that was kind of a little bit of tactics to stop that LMP2 coming through to benefit me, and it clearly did. Bit of work from the BMW there. He did lift off, which was very nice, and kind of give us the position, and that LMP was very patient. He could have pushed it 3 wide, but again, people being sensible, leaving it be. So at this point, I've realised how strong the BMW is in a straight line. He's gaining and gaining and gaining. He was gaining a lot better on us than we were gaining on him in the same scenario when we were in slipstream. So I just need to make sure I hit my markers, try and get a good exit here. And David didn't follow us through. So at this point, I'm thinking I need to run away. I need to get out of the slipstream and really see David's speed. So the BM is doing a brilliant job there, giving me a little bit of a rear gunner approach at this point. So all we're trying to do is run away. And look at the LMP2s behind. You can see them coming around the first half around there. There's a whole string of them. At this moment in time, I am quite happy because I've got a clear track in front of me. I feel I can run away from the BMW behind, and we've got LMPs coming through. With 3 cars like that behind me, and again, you'll see all the LMP2s there. Look at them in the background. With 3 cars at this point, and this is a good opportunity to have a look at the LMP2s as I pause it. You can see the 3 cars, the GT3s here. They're close together. They're going to prevent more of a problem, and they're probably going to get broken up by the LMP2. So the more gap I can have, it's a gap that an LMP2 can slot in. So that's my logical thinking there. Try and run away as much as I can, and you can see here on the banking, nice cinematic shot. Gotta love it. Yeah, trying to run away as much as we can, basically. You see the LMP2s are going to catch on the straight. That is the best place to get them overtake. They are much faster in the straights, and through the infield, they're a little bit faster, but not too bad. So LMP2 goes through, sorry, the first one, and the other one behind actually slots in behind the BMW. Now, I don't know what happens, but they seem to go through quite slowly. I don't know if the BM was going to lift off or not, and then obviously let the LMP2 go through, but it did make a lovely big gap. So brilliant. Happy days at this point. I can break the toe. At this point, I'm keeping an eye on David. Oh, I can't see on the relative at the moment, but I need to make sure if he does get past, how quickly he does gain on me. If he is quicker, it'll give me a good judgment for the rest of the stint. At the end of the day, he's been fuel saving behind me, so maybe I fuel save behind him. So he goes for the move around the outside, and it is quite easy, to be honest. BMW comes back in the later stages, just drifts wide a little bit there, but obviously being sensible, not too much. David slots in behind and has another go a bit later on. You can see this is why I wanted to be ahead and in clear air, because not only is the BMW fighting with the Audi is obviously looking in his mirror for all them LMP2s again. Look at them stringing behind. And this is where luck comes into it, because they're all battling on the infield. And luckily, I get around the infield without being held up of this massive string of LMP2s. You see, they're not quite close enough even to have a lunge down into the final corner of the infield here, which is absolutely brilliant for me, because they're all holding them boys up behind and they don't hold me up. They overtake me at the perfect opportunity at the perfect time. The easiest way to run away is to have something like that. And just like that, you look at the guys behind, they're not even on the relative 2.3 seconds. Considering how close we were, and it's just LMP2s, just like, say, other cars in the mix, you know, getting in the way, slowing people up. They're entitled to be there. That's no disrespect to them at all, but it helped me no end. Thank you to this guy as well who waited for the bus stop. He could have lunged it, and obviously he got a bit more close to the guys behind. But it's early days. As I say, it's only lap 10. Everyone's being sensible, which is really, really nice. At this point, I go high very early. So I'm wanting these two to go down my inside. I'm wanting them to get rid of them. I don't want to overtake them on the bus stop, through the infield, sorry. So I let them go, and I stay mega wide of this guy, and I get back to the racing line. Now at this point, I know they're going to overtake on my right-hand side because they want the apex of this corner. We can kind of go through here at the same speed, so I don't lose too much time, get back on the racing line, and at this point, I'm watching my mirror. I know there's two of them behind me, so I'm just going to stick to my racing line and let them sort it out. I know, again, coming through this little kink, I'm less likely to understeer. They're less likely to understeer than I am into them. Again, yield the inside. He doesn't go for it. I give him a bit of a squeeze, but there's still a car room in there. Again, net code on a different day could have been a different story, but I let him have the inside. Hopefully he can get on power and he gets out my way. I don't sit right behind him in the braking zone because they do brake a little bit early sometimes. So yeah, just be mindful of that with the LMPs. Back onto the oval now, and you can see we've got a nice disappear of space, and this is, I'm going to repeat it several times because I think this was so helpful in us getting up the field, helping us out. Is just the first stint of the LMP2s going past us, and obviously right moves at the right time. Get us in that clear air. We can make a decision. You can kind of put your car in a position where you want the LMPs to go. Easy, easy, easy. Fast forward to lap 12 now, and we're looking behind. This is another new move by David. He tries it again, and unfortunately the camera slips off a little bit, but he does get the job done and dusted. It's one of them things like, has the BMW realized he doesn't have the pace at this moment in the race? And David does, so he wants to use his slipstream to get ahead. It's all that thing. Within a few laps, he has caught us up brilliantly, so I know that David is a little bit quicker than us, so I need to bear that in mind. There's no point us battling, losing time. He's managed to run away from the Beamer. You know, race sensibly here. It's the highest average lap time that you want to do. At this point, we do have a little battle with a back marker here, and this could have been made easier. He does battle us all the way into the bus stop, and at this point I was trying to get a little bit of a breakaway from David, because again, I thought if I can run away a little bit, it gives us pretty much handy to disappear. But he is flashing his lights like mad. This lap car, again, he's not doing anything wrong, but you know, he's a lap down already. Me and David here are battling for P4, P5. Yes, it's only lap 19, but he's in my slipstream. He could have lifted off a lot earlier, and we could have carried on and disappeared. You can see it does make things awkward here, going sort of too wide for the LMP2s behind. So they got the inside. This is good awareness from David as well, that he sees and knows about the LMP2s coming up the inside. There's three of them in a line, and it was good that he was using his mirror to spot that. Again, through here, it's a bit easier for me because I can outbrake the orange car. Through here, you'll see him appear just on the inside. I know there's a green car there as well, and I give him loads of room on the apex. Run wide, get on power as early as can. I immediately go to my racing line as always, because that's the best thing through the kink. I think is, you know, they're less likely to understeer into me than them. You can see here, David is right up our jacksie. And we've got a lovely string of LMP2s as well. Luckily, they hit us at the right time, and you can see that lap car still hanging on to us as well. I want to try and get all of them through as best I can, but you can see here there's a nice string of them as well. So I'll stay nice and low at this point because they're already on the high side. Switch to the front camera. You can see I just hold my line. Bit cheeky of that red guy to come along and cut us off. That was a little bit brave. You know, could lose a little bit downforce. Not going to lock up because he got ABS, but I thought that was a little bit risky. I don't know why he was defending that line. Maybe he saw the other LMP2 was gaining him, so he decided to get out of it. At this point, carnage happens because they do rear end each other and almost touch there. And again, thank you to David, who does get out of that. He realizes the situation is bad. I'm trying to dodge that LMP2 and he avoids me, which is absolutely brilliant. Lap 22 now, we are getting towards the end of our stint. I think we're aiming for 31 laps on a tank. Obviously, you need a bit of fuel saving around here to get that extra lap of fuel. And it may not seem a lot of an extra lap, but when you're doing 799 laps, it saves, potentially saves a whole pit stop. So it's worth doing. You can see here, we are staying low and he's got a good run behind us. You can hear the engine and you see me dab the brake. Now, a lot of people will say that's very dangerous, but I keep on full throttle. I do not lose full throttle at all. You see I lift off when he's overtaking us, but watch my throttle and brake trace here. I'm only dinking the brakes to flash my brake lights. It's a good indication to the car behind, if they are spotting it, that I'm letting you go. As soon as he pulls out the slipstream, I lift off, make the pass a lot easier. We don't want to lose time here. He's proven that he is quicker, and annoyingly, he mucks up turn one a little bit. But yeah, we want to get moving, we want to get forward, and at this point, I thought it was the best opportunity to let David lead and try and stay in his slipstream. Hopefully, our lap times come down, and we can close that gap to P1 to P3, which they're only 3 seconds ahead, which, considering at the start of the race, they were disappearing into the distance, I think is good going. So this is where I want to save fuel behind David. He's done it behind me for a few laps, so I can get to receive the favour. It just helps with that whole lap time as well. Again, if you are saving fuel for the extra lap, you may as well save fuel if you're on the slipstream, because at the end of the day, it saves time sitting still. If you come in with half a gallon, that's half a gallon less you have to refuel. You see here a couple of laps later, kind of worrying, you losing the slipstream here. It's half a second. I know how quick that Audi was in a straight line. It was equal to us, so I need to keep with it. You can see behind as well, we've got a little bit of a gap between the next LMP. So this is where things get interesting, because look ahead, LMP2s and the top three really slow up through the bus stop. Really causes carnage there. Not sure what actually happened. I think it was just LMP2 and GT3s just trying to squeeze through the bus stop altogether. But that puts us right on the tail of the top three, and this is exactly what I wanted. It was a bit of luck that they got held up, but this is where me and David can sort of pick away at the guy's head and, you know, maybe get a podium out of this. It's early days, but if you've got more field behind you and less field in front of you, it's a good thing. So at this point, I'm just taking it easy. There could be some angry drivers because of the held up and the bus stop. So take it easy through that as best you can. Next time by, we've got an LMP here, which does worry me a little bit, but even more in front worries me a lot more. LMP gets turned around, and it was an annoying little instant because it could have been easily avoided. So this is the one of the P3, is it? Just comes up as the LMP2's braking and just nudges his rear end. Luckily, I don't think there was any damage by either party, and that LMP2 was a little bit lucky as well to be spinning and going in the right direction. Could have been a lot worse, could have been a hell of a lot worse for both drivers, but they continue in. So this is our pit in now. That is that. We stayed with David, and opportunity here. I don't know why people stay over there. You can cut this quite nicely, and this was very close to say the least. I'm late on the brakes. I was quite good on pit entry here, but David does come across. He's entitled to, no disrespect to him, and I slam on the brakes to try and not go up the rear end. Luckily, my pit box is right here. So weird thing with Daytona, anything left of this white line is a solid car, and anything left of the anything right of the white line is a solid car. Anything left is a ghost car. Most pit lanes all over the place are completely ghost, apart from Daytona and probably most of the ovals, but obviously this is only the oval we run on. Almost very close to running a bit too far forward. You can see the lollipop is actually in the windscreen, so that was very lucky that we didn't have to reverse. But away we go, and we did beat the Lambo out. So me and David both beat him out. There he goes, pulling away. So very luckily with that one, that hopefully that is another car out the way that we don't need to overtake. At this point, going to cut the corner a little bit. Make sure you do not hit that wall on pit exit. Very dangerous. But yeah, that is stint 1 over. Only 23 hours, 40 odd minutes, 24 hours, whatever it was left. Yeah, long way to go, but that was my first stint. So you've seen the start. So let's see the end. This is coming on to white flag. This was pulled from YouTube because for some reason I deleted the file that I recorded at this time. So I do apologise about that. But yeah, this is coming on to white flag, so I'm going to shut up and I'll see you at the checkered flag. White flag.
You better hustle, they're coming. Like literally laps of your life.
Did you remember to program a traction control button, Tony, or so you can do donuts?
He got enough incident points left though.
Oh, but congrats.
Do a full in lap and do the donuts.
You're not winning.
As the car's approaching. Just 2 minutes left. 2 minutes to go. Yeah, P3 and the LMPs are 4 seconds faster than P2.
Yeah, you positioning the entire race.
It's going to be tight.
Sorry, say that again, Keith. I couldn't hear because there's two.
LMP2
Yeah.
is P3 is 4 seconds faster than P2. I had a quick tap, they're pretty close.
Are they fuel saving like crazy?
That's why I'm saying we're coming for you.
Oh, if that GT3 had gone up the track instead.
Anyway.
Yeah. 24 hours!
Yay!
Oh, it's gonna be on the line. He's done it.
Oh.
He got it as well. Wow.
He got him, yeah. Oh. Jesus, Tony, what a 24 hours.
So behind us, I don't know if you saw on the relative, but there P2 and P3 in the LMP2s, they were battling right to the end, and P3 did get him on the line. So that's what that commotion was behind. But yeah, that is us crossing the line. We've won a 10-hour, we've won a 6-hour, we won a 12-hour, and yeah, we've now won a 24 split 5. We were all delighted, to be honest. We've done a few. I think we've done 4 or 5 24 hours, and they haven't ended particularly well. But yeah, this was very, very nice indeed. With these endurance races, you do need a lot of luck, and the luck was shining on us and unfortunately our competitors. So David, in the first stint, car number 1, his team were leading for a lot of the race, to be honest. And yeah, we were at this point, we were sort of P2, P3, P4, sort of in the top 5, but obviously depending on pit stops, stuff like that, justing around. So something happened to car number 1, that Aldi, not sure what, didn't catch it, didn't see it, unfortunately. And then it was car 44, that Beamer was actually leading for a lot of the later stage of the race. And then towards the end, it all sort of went wrong for them. We've had it happen to us, and it feels horrible, and we can only send our condolences to these boys, as well as the car number 1. It is not nice when it happens, but let's go through what happened with them. So this was the first little incident they had, and annoyingly, bit of a LMP2 Beamer sandwich there. A little bit annoying. Possibly could have been avoided by any of the 3 parties, to be brutally honest with you. But yeah, that was only 10 seconds in the pit stop by our calculations of what they were doing. So yeah, how that wasn't anything worse, but obviously, you know, at this point I think they were 30-40 seconds up the road, and losing 10 seconds is a good chunk. So it's good for us, but obviously bad for them. And nice the way the BMW does grip up, and it's very lucky for them that they didn't collect them 2 other cars just ahead. So this is another little mistake that cost them maybe about 8 seconds by our calculations. Just, you know, this is the thing with the endurance races. We're not pointing fingers and blaming here. It's happened to us several times, and it will happen to us several more times. You're racing for an awful long time. Silly little mistakes like that will happen. And unfortunately for them, again, it's another, you know, 5 or 6 seconds that we gain on them. it could have been pressure. Who knows? Who knows? But this is the, you know, those were little bits you could handle with. What comes next is really, really unlucky. I did message them after the race to find out what happened, and they said that they had a game stutter. And this is probably the worst time to have a game stutter. You know, the pit exit here is tight and narrow, and I believe it happens now, and he doesn't come back for a few seconds, and that happens. How heartbreaking is that? I called it live on stream that he was possibly putting on his gloves, possibly getting a drink, something else, because I see his wheel at this point like immediately turn. So I thought it was just looking for something, reaching for something, talking to someone, who knows. But he did confirm it was a game starter. And how horrible is that? Because when you're stuck in that tyre, you can't get out. They had to tow. And that is absolutely heartbreaking for them. Again, condolences to them, because it's really, really horrible. Their heart must have sunk. They're still in the lead at this point. We're like leapfrogging them in the pits for the lead. At this point, we're talking tactics to see if we can, you know, be cheeky and gain a little bit of time on them, you know, by taking tyres a bit longer. But yeah, it's happened to us. Unforced errors, our own mistakes, and we have lost races because of it in these endurance. So yeah, annoying for them. Really feel their pain. Again, another thing to add to their poor list of bad luck is just getting a little bit tapped there by a lap car. We did have that a lot in the race with drivers sort of challenging the leaders into the braking zone. Had it with a few cars sort of almost rear-ending us, and this happens annoyingly. I believe the Lambo was trying to let them go again, because at this point, yeah, they're second place, so they're still high up there. But yeah, I think a bit of miscommunication, bit of frustration from the little dink there, and they both go off. Again, it's one of them things, tiredness sets in. This is the fun of, you know, endurance racing. But yeah, the worst one is yet to come. Now, I've mentioned tiredness, and obviously that goes on all drivers at this point. And the car we're focusing on is the one right at the top there. So we overtake these two absolutely fine with the LMP car at the minute, and slow it down at this point. Now, it's annoying at this point because the BMW does brake at the 3 board, because unfortunately this car had a bit of a reputation in the field. And that happens. It's uncalled for. It's unnecessary. It's 100% avoidable. I don't know what was going through, you know, the driver there. I'm pinning that on the LMP2 at fault, because he has to do the overtake safely. So the fact that he's sort of half covering the car and half not, he's kind of looking up the inside and kind of not. You know, tiredness does set in, but at the end of the day, you need to pay attention, because this LMP, the 808 behind, was the last of the running LMP2s, and that's P2 that he's just taken out. So yeah, again, they ran a fantastic race. They probably should have won this. I was in the car on the last stint. I don't know if I could have caught them. At this point, this disaster that happened for them happened over the last like hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know if I could have caught them. I might have done. Who knows? We might have been battling for the lead, but that kind of gifted us the lead at this point. Obviously, we still got to finish and get the car to the checkered flag. But yeah, that I feel so sorry for them that again, because it's completely avoidable. There I am on the apron because I see them and I want to give them as much space as possible, because I don't want to add to their heartache anymore. But yeah, huge, massive cuddles to them boys, because they ran a fantastic race. They were in the lead by an awful lot. And it was great racing with the Audi car number 1, particularly David. He was brilliant to race with. But yeah, that is kind of how he won it. I think had they had not issues, we possibly got P2 or P3. At the end of the day, they were, well, the 44 on the car 1 were a good 40, sort of 60 seconds ahead down the road. And yeah, luckily it went right for us, and unfortunately it went wrong for them. But that is how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And as I say, with these things, you do need a bit of luck. But is luck generated by how you race? But yeah, another clip of it there. Completely avoidable. And yeah, should have given us, well, the LMP should have given that car a lot of room. He's the last running LMP, so really he should have left room. If he was going to wait behind the car, make it painfully obvious, but that's my opinion on the thing. Otherwise, I know this is a pretty long one, but I thought it was quite interesting to just show you the first stint and obviously the last sort of lap for us, and obviously how we did win through basically staying out of trouble. But yeah, there's me coming around on the apron, avoiding trouble. And yeah, thank you very much for watching if you're still here, and fingers crossed we can defend our title next year. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you on the next one.